I'm really going to crank up the heat. And I've got a great, spicy, smoking hot marinade recipe for you. And I'm a big believer that one of the ways you get out of the recipe rut is to marinate your steaks, your chicken, your pork. Because you can take so much, you can just really inject so much flavor by marinating. And also you can take inexpensive cuts of meat and make them nice and tender and full of flavor, and that you make them taste like $1,000,000. So I'm a big fan. If I can think about it in the morning before I head to work, I'll just whip together a quick homemade marinade, or on the weekend, you know, on Sunday, I'll do a couple different marinades and then come home from work and, you know, throw whatever on the grill, and just makes life so much easier. And I don't ever buy, never ever do I buy the pre-done marinades. I think now there's like an entire aisle at the grocery store of all the marinades and bottles, because you don't need to. First of all, they're expensive. I think some of them are like $5, $6, $7, $8 for a little bottle of marinade. Most of the stuff that I use to marinate, all the stuff, is just whatever I find in the pantry, whatever I feel like it. If I'm making like an Asian marinade, a little soy sauce, honey, maybe some rice wine vinegar, a little oil, some sesame oil. I just use whatever and mix it up. Sometimes I'll do Worcestershire if I'm doing, you know, there's just a million different kinds, whether you want a little sweet, little Asian, little barbecue flavor. But we're going to do spicy today, so we've got a great marinade recipe for you. All right, the star of this marinade is this stuff that comes in this little can. And if you're not familiar with it, get to know these guys, because basically it's chipotle peppers in adobo sauce. And they come in a little can like this. You'll find this in the ethnic section of your grocery store. And boy, that section is expanded and expanded. This can actually is a product of Mexico, so it comes to us from Mexico. And in it are smoked chipotle peppers, tomato puree, vinegar, onion, sunflower seed oil, a little sugar, salt, paprika, and garlic. But whoo! Are they flavorful and are they spicy? But they are delicious. So just pop the can off of these. And I make a great lime vinaigrette salad dressing with some of this chipotle pepper, and it's just delicious. But warning, they are really, really hot, full of flavor and smoky, wonderful flavor, but really spicy. I one time did a corn and a crab chowder and put a few too many in, and I almost had to throw the whole batch out. It was delicious, but a little... Good thing Bob and I like it really spicy, because it was. I wouldn't be inviting company over for that one. But anyway, so you can, you know, depending on how spicy, this is going to be a marinade, so we're not eating this straight up. So we're going to add about 1/4 cup. And you see the peppers are in this great little, so we'll do like 2 to 3 peppers. Sauce, and we'll throw a little of that sauce in there too. And that's going to be plenty spicy. Now you can freeze these. Oh, you know, some of my... I've gotten great tips and tricks from you guys out there, but one of them is, you know, so I've got a half a can left over. What am I going to do with it? Throw this in a Ziploc baggie, throw it in your freezer, and then, you know, the next time you're ready to cook with these, you've got it right there in your freezer in the Ziploc bag. Throw it in the microwave and defrost it. Same thing with like canned tomato paste. Sometimes you'll just need a tablespoon or two. Throw it into Ziploc baggies, and then, you know, little portions, a couple tablespoons each one, and there you've got it. So anyway, about 1/4 cup of the chipotles in adobo sauce, and that's really spicy, and I like a little sweet with my spicy, so we're going to add some honey. Sweeten things up. Is that about 1/2 cup honey, Deb?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And then we're also going to add 1/2 cup of soy sauce. This is going to make quite a bit of marinade. What you're going to do with this is you're going to marinate a whole bunch of chicken with this. This marinade fabulous with pork tenderloin, pork chops. This is really, beef would be great too, but I would definitely use this with chicken just to kind of make it, you know, spicy, kick it up a notch, or pork. Fresh lime juice, about 1/4 cup, so some acid in there. Marinades always have, you know, some acid, or they should, some acid, some sweet, some spicy, and then some oil to kind of bind it all together. So olive oil or a canola oil. And I'm doing this in the blender, and I do that with a lot of my marinades. It just makes it really easy. And that way, you're going to puree up those chipotle peppers. Smells really good. Okay, so I'm heating up my grill here. And I'm going to give my chicken breast just a quick pound. But you could do this, I'm doing it with chicken breasts. You could certainly do this with, you know, whole cut up fryers, chicken thighs, whatever. But I'm doing chicken breast, and I like to just pound them a little bit. Get them nice and flat. I crank up my grill pan, but certainly, you know, fire up the outdoor grill. The weather's been perfect. We grilled last night. Tastes so good. Now this marinade, because it's so strong, a couple hours will do you. A lot of times I'm a big fan of marinating overnight, but this is very, you know, spicy. Got a lot going on with that soy sauce and the chipotle in here. So if all you have is a couple hours, this is the perfect marinade for that, because it doesn't need too much longer than that. So I like to marinate always in a glass pan or a Ziploc bag. You never want to marinate in metal. Just doesn't react well with the acid. Just coat it real well. And if you don't have time to really let it, you know, marinate overnight, like I say, this marinade is so flavorful, you don't need to. So we'll get that on a hot, hot grill pan. Yeah, perfect. You can also use this as a brushing sauce. So what we can do is I'm going to throw it in a bowl. And if you really want the flavor from your marinade in, sometimes I'll reserve some of the marinade and not put it all over the meat or the chicken or the pork in this case, and just leave it out so that I've got some on the side here. And if I'm grilling and I really want to get that flavor in there, continue the layers of flavor, keep it nice and moist, I've got my little side container of marinade here. Smells. If I start sneezing, that's because this has got kick to it. These chipotle peppers, smoking hot. Now, because this is so spicy, I'd like to serve this, if I were going to do the chicken, the pork, with this chipotle marinade, something like even plain white rice or rice pilaf, something to just kind of soak up. No, you know, that isn't also spicy. You know, if you're doing something spicy, you want to serve something a little more mellow. And then for dessert, you know, some nice cooling sorbet. We did that grapefruit sorbet. That would be delicious with this. They're looking great. Got those great grill marks. I love these barbecue brushes. If Dad is a big barbecuer, these silicone brushes are great because you can throw them in the dishwasher and the sauce actually comes out of them, unlike the old brushes that we used to use, the hair barbecue brushes, you know, those hair bristles. They're impossible to clean. Well, these silicone guys are fabulous. Yum. All right, I'm going to let these cook. It smells fabulous.